Hello Capricorn friends, I'm Annie Botticelli and welcome to my Capricorn December 2021 Astrology Must-Knows Horoscope Forecast. Definitely go to anniehelpsyou.com. That is your interface for all of the free goodies that I make for you each month. And there is even more excitement now because, as I'm always telling you, run a free birth chart online to be able to make the most of my very deep insights about different degrees of placements. You will be able to run these free birth charts as a member of my email community, which you can become at anniehelpsyou.com. This is for you if Capricorn is your sun sign, your rising sign, your moon sign, or any other Capricorn placement. And I have a Capricorn moon with you all, so all of this is very deeply personal to me as well as I report this all for you. If you're a late degree Capricorn, so if your birthday is, we'll say around January 13th or so through the rest of the sign, or if you've got 20 or 22 or so degrees to the rest of the sign, I also recommend that you watch my Aquarius report because you late degree people will have insights from both the Capricorn report and the Aquarius report because it's a more complex read. All right, so what are the big must-knows for this wrap-up month? This is a major wrap-up of a lot of things. We'll talk about all of that. It's also a time when we've got some special focus on some things Capricornian, which we're going to talk about in a second here. All right, so the first major must know is we do have that radical conclusion to the Sagittarius-Gemini eclipse cycle that has brought major change in many different areas since the world shut down in March of 2020. So we've been in this cycle and this is now ending. That doesn't mean that coronavirus ends, but it does mean that a certain facet of its expression and its experience for many people are going to have a big chapter that is ending. So there is a lot of notable conclusions, a lot of stress and drama, but it could also be a lot of major things gelling. And things you've been wanting your whole life can come to pass now, but you might have to say goodbye to some things that you don't want to say goodbye to. And that is just what goes on at eclipse time. So by now you're feeling the nerve jangling change in the air that happens in eclipse season. Definitely also watch my November horoscope because I talk about the November eclipse, which is going to also be in effect here in December, but we're not discussing it in this video. Okay, so radical changes coming, and it's going to come along the lines of anything having to do with teaching, learning, education, international travel or business, writing, publishing. And this topic of writing and publishing is very, very big because of other reasons for Capricorn. So we're going to come back to that specific topic for you all here soon. And this also is very, very important for Capricorns in the perspective of your mindset. You can have a major, major change in your mindset. Something that has been a problem for you through an addiction or an old pattern has more of a chance of lifting out of your experience at this time because of the placement of this eclipse. Okay, so I've listed some ways you might see these manifestations. If you want to see more about how this eclipse is going to affect you, watch my Eclipses in Sagittarius video. You can search for these organically, Annie Botticelli Eclipses in Sagittarius, or you can go to my Annie Botticelli YouTube homepage, and I have the Eclipse playlist. All of the videos I'm going to refer you to will be there. And it is necessary for me to refer you out for some things because I'm going to touch on them, but they're so monumental that I couldn't possibly speak to them in all of their most relevant entirety in the horoscopes, or they would be like 4 hours long. So those of you who like to get more in depth, you definitely have resources to do that. So I also recommend Capricorns to watch my eclipses in Pisces because it's also going to be in the 12th house for energetically for you all. And if you're a January born, I also suggest you watch my eclipses in Aquarius because the influence of that energy does shift a bit when you get later in the sign. So between those resources, you'll have a really good idea of some more personal ways that this eclipse is going to affect you. But for our talk here, just know that change is very likely coming, you and for other people around you, and that this is an especially powerful set of eclipses because of the conclusion of this season and the beginning, or the Gemini Sagittarius season, and the beginning of the Taurus Scorpio eclipse cycle. Another major must-know for Capricorns, of course, is that for you early degree placements and December born, it's your birthday time. So happy birthday to you all, and do know that if you're watching for Capricorn placement other than your sun, that you will get little kisses and rebirth energy from when the sun crosses your Cap placement, whatever it is. So there is this energy of newness, of rebirth, of a new cycle. And those of you who have your birthday, you do get birthday wishes. They are astrological, and the sun in the sky and in the chart represents the things that you want. So when the sun in the sky gets back to the same point that it was at in your chart, it opens a portal for wishing, which is birthday wishes. So you can search for my Making Wishes Come True, Annie Botticelli Making Wishes Come True, my video to help you make the most of your birthday wishes and understand the difference between wishes and intentions. But wishes and intentions are both more powerful at this time. So happy birthday to you all. Another major must-know on those fronts is that in the weeks before your birthday, you often experience some darkness or some heaviness or extra anxiety, and that is because of the flooding to your 12th house. So these energies can bring up your fears, can make you feel like time is running out, can make you be looking back at the past and having regrets, and can just bring, addictions or other patterns that are unfavorable to your mind. And this is all purposeful. So instead of partying them away or avoiding them or working to distract yourself, if you take some time to just sit with them and even write down your fears or use some EFT tapping, you might notice you have some nightmares where you wake up and there's something that's on your mind. If you just take a little time to work with these things instead of distracting yourself away from them, you might find that you get more clarity about the things that you want and more clarity about how you can get to them, and more optimism about being able to achieve them. And that is a very productive way to use this time of year. And of course, the universe is benevolent, and we can see that benevolence all throughout so many aspects of our experience, the golden ratio being present in everything from the mean distance that the planets have between each other to a flower. That sacred, coherent patterning tells me that the basis of our experience is coherent and benevolent, and that our creatrix, is benevolent and coherent. And so you've got this this chance at this time to tune into the perfection of things and understand that you do get more anxious before your birthday as a positive purpose to help you see more of what you don't want, so that you can use your birthday wishes to wish for more of what you do want. All right, so the next big must know is that Venus is going retrograde. So we've got to talk about Venus in retrograde. We've got to talk about the fact that Venus is retrograde in Capricorn, which means that Venus is staying in Capricorn for an unusually long time. And this is going to more personally affect you as a Capricorn. Now, every Cap placement is going to feel additional effects from this retrograde. But those of you who are between 26 or 11 and 26 degrees, so that's basically everyone in the January born spectrum, because even those of you in the last couple of days, it will be close enough that it's really affecting you, because Venus is going to retrograde over your placement. It's going to go forward over your placement, then it's going to go backwards, and it's going to go forward again. So you're going to have a lot of lessons and a lot of opportunities that come with the Venus retro. All of these placements can bring wonderful things, and they can bring challenging things. You really need to know a lot about Venus retro, and fortunately I have created resources for you to do that. We're going to hit the highlights here, but you'll want to look for the retrograde playlist on my homepage, or search organically for Annie Botticelli Venus retrograde, because Venus rules love and romance and relationships and money and finances and income and design projects and beauty and self-esteem and things that you do to your physicality. It's a very, very major rulership. So there are a lot of things to know about this, because there are a lot of things that are not good to do at this time, and this is a major must-know. One of the biggest things you can walk into this period understanding is, first of all, that not only does the retrograde go from December 19th through January 29th, but the shadow period started November 18th and goes through the beginning of March. So from the middle of November through the beginning of March, you are under a Venus spell. All right, if you know anything about mythology, Venus and the other gods and goddesses, they have powers, right? They put people under spells, and Venus puts people under a spell in the areas that she rules. So you don't want to make big decisions that are long lasting and not easy to change from the perspective of having rose-colored glasses on. Now, that being said, there can be lots of love opportunities and romantic opportunities, especially in your current relationship, going back to past things, or a romantic partner coming from the past. Money and opportunities and business from the past can come like crazy. A lot of you are going to have a massive surplus in money because clients from your past are going to come back like crazy. And it would definitely be a good idea for you to touch base with those people and remind them of something that you offer, or, have something additional that you offer that they might not know about, because business contacts from the past are going to play in, and this is a beautiful thing. But if you're making a big decision, like a big business launch, or meeting someone for the first time and then wanting to get married the next week, or redesigning your whole house in Venus retrograde, those are things that you want to learn a little bit more about the transit before you do them, because when you're out of the Venus spell, you might hate the color of the walls that you painted your 4,000 square foot house in. And if you chop off all your hair or get body art, the odds are that it's going to not be something that you like as much when the spell is over. So you have to really know about these things. Similarly, let's say you are wanting to get something done to your physical body as far as a physical enhancement or improvement. The odds that it isn't going to go well are increased at this time. The odds that if you have a voluntary surgery, and I'm not talking about medical surgeries that you really need, okay? Because if you need a medical surgery, get the surgery and don't worry about it. But if you don't need it, and it's something you're just sort of, I'm going to do this, I'm going to get this skin tag burned off, I'm going to do this, whatever it is, the chance for scarring or negative effects to your physicality are increased when you do those things in the Venus retrograde. So there are just a lot of caveats and a lot of details to understand. But the basic summary is, if it's something that's easily changed, it's something that you can easily afford, even if your finances shift, or it's something that is flexible or kind of just like a light shift or upgrade that is reversible, then it's fine. Don't worry about it. And you'll get to do lots of those things, beautiful, beautiful things at this time. But if you can't change it easily, if you're not going to be able to afford it, like buying a house that you can't afford because people are offering so much more than the market, buying a money pit, all of those things, if it's stretching you at all, those are the things to reconsider. But if you can afford it, or if it's easily changeable, or if it's low stakes, as I like to call it, then it fits the bill to be fine for these beautiful Venus retrograde shifts. And you can kind of go with that. Now, this is going to be very extra strong for Caps, because the house that's being aspected for you is also your physical house, Now, this is good news, because you can go back to diet or ways of your exercise routines or things that worked for you in the past. You can make a return to them, and they can be very helpful for you. All right. And things that you don't want to deal with, like money issues or relationship issues or self-esteem issues, those are also likely to come up in a big way, because anything that's swept under the rug, or that kind of lowers deeper into our consciousness when Venus is direct, comes bubbling right back up in our faces, and the rug is taken away and everything's swirling all over the place. I always see this as an opportunity. Some people are like, gosh, don't want to have that same relationship issue come back up again and fight about that. But guess what? It comes up so that you can deal with it, and it comes up so that you can heal it. And the degree to which you actually take decisive action on healing is increasing the odds that you can make positive headway. Now, another major must know for Venus retrograde, and then we'll move on here. So if you have to make some kind of decision, have to divorce or something like that, it's not always great to make those decisions in that time. You might find it comes to you and it's out of your hands. If something, not the investment things, but if something is out of your hands, it's out of your hands. But if you're the one activating or making a decision, you might want to try everything, your last ditch efforts, your therapy, your, looking into your personal patterns and how they play into the relationship with other people and money. You might want to work on all that stuff in the retrograde rather than make the big decisions about it, because when the spell is over and when the transit passes, you might see things differently. And if you make a big decision about ending something or even beginning something, then that could have long-term consequences that are not what you're hoping for. So you just have to be really careful there. But it is an amazing time where beauty and awesomeness and sweetness from the past can come in a beautiful way. Things can be rekindled, and you can also benefit from work that you did in the past. Any work you've done with your relationship or your self-esteem or your finances in the past can come in a big way when the Venus retrograde tides start to pull towards you. It can bring a lot of beautiful things to you. Okay, so another major must know is that the energies of Sagittarius tend to spin. And this is a different energetic than Capricorn energy. Capricorn is a cardinal energy. It goes in a finite direction. Sag energy spins. It's mutable. It goes all over the place. So you will be more scattered. You will be more distracted. You will have a harder time concentrating. Even though Venus is in Capricorn, that can help with certain things. There's going to be a lot of busyness. So expect this to be a very busy time. Oh, and by the way, holiday shoppers, much better to be early shopper this year. It was going to increase the odds that people will like what you're getting, and it's going to increase the odds that you'll get it on time. So November shopping, especially the first half or so of November, if you're watching this early, is better than leaving things to the last minute. One caveat to that is you might get some last minute smoking deals, but you don't want to leave the bulk of your shopping till the end there because of various astrological factors. Okay, so let's see. Scorpio energy is still in effect because Mars is moving through this placement, and this is a very good thing for Capricorn. Scorpio and Capricorn have a business and outcomes mindedness that matches very well. And it helps to lend support to your ambitions and things that you would like to do and your goals. And I know that Capricorns have goals for other people, not just themselves. I have, as I've told you, I have a lot of strong Capricorn placements myself. And it's definitely a misconception that Capricorns are all about their own ambitions and outcomes, because although there some of that, and some people embody just that, they're ambitious for the sake of their own purpose and their plan. Most of the Capricorns I know are doing it for somebody else, or doing it to take care of their family, or doing it to help their employees, doing it, there is a lot of joint focus with the Capricorn ambitions. And you might get support from the people that you're helping at this time, or you might get support from other people. And this is true for all Cap placements, but those of you towards the end, so like maybe January 15th or so through the rest of the sign, you're going to have extra kisses from support from other people. Okay, so more major must-knows is we've got the final 2021 clash of Saturn and Uranus. These titans of the outer realms have been duking it out, and we've been feeling it. For better and worse, even a difficult angle can bring about amazing things. It's just a pressure angle, and we feel that. So I highly recommend you watch my very in-depth video on this topic. You can search for Annie Botticelli, Saturn square Uranus. I'll give you some tidbits here. This is a mega transit that is flavoring the whole year and was especially strong around February 14th, June 14th, and December 24th. But we are going to have a revisit of these energies between around August and November of 2022. But we will have a little bit of a reprieve as well for a good part of 2022 after this December into January time. So this can mean more clashes of the old versus the new. And you're going to see this in your personal life. You're going to see this in your relationships, in your community, and in the world, as we have this multidimensional experience of this. Everyone is being affected by this, whether they know it or believe it or not. And the chance for you having more personal hits for this is stronger the closer you have placements at 11 degrees. And I mean any placements at 11 degrees. 11 degrees, and you can know this when you run your free birth chart. So towards the end of November, when you will have the capacity to run free birth charts as a member of my email community, you'll be able to check it out and see, do you have anything near 11 degrees? And we'll even put the web from 6 to 16 degrees. And the closer to 11 degrees, the more you're going to have an impact. Then you will be more personally, profoundly affected by this transit. Now, it can bring challenges, but it can bring breakthroughs, and it will likely bring both. Anything having to do with the old systems And this is, you can see this from the way that you do things in your life, in your family, in your household, to the ways that the education system, the financial system, anything having to do with the market systems, our currencies, agriculture systems, even shipping, supply chains, all of these things have been undergoing a lot of duress, and they will continue to do this. And there is a storyline at play through the rest of 2022. So we've got another year while these things are in motion. But what is happening is new systems are being put in place. The fledgling systems are not as well tested as the old systems, and not all of the new things that come in are going to be viable or sustainable. And that's the wrestling that we're each going to have is, we feel the new things, I see the new things, not quite ready to let some of the old things go. And maybe you don't let all of them go. The ones that you have to let go of are the ones that are taken from you, and some of them will be. But there are certain things you can keep in place to hold the foundation as the new things get stronger. Kind of like I've got this beautiful tomato plant, and it spurred a baby plant, right? And this tomato plant, I'm protecting it, it's in place. And the future of my tomato crops are going to be from this baby plant. But that baby plant has to be protected. And in the meantime, the old plant is there too. So that's what it's like, there are going to be erratic ideas, and some of them are not going to be working for you. You might have these erratic ideas. There might be a tendency to want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. So you might want to just say, I want radical change and I'm going to do all of that right now, and then try to throw everything away. But that could be a mistake. So you really need to tune into what you can keep, what has value of the whole system, rather than throwing the system out altogether. All right, so that's a big must know. Some of the other things I want to talk about there. Oh yes, so there are a lot of opportunities with this clash to call out your super genius. The chance for you as an individual and for people all over the world to have sudden insights about ways that they can improve their circumstances and others are going to be raging. So exciting that you can use this Uranus energy to have a sudden insight, but you have to write it down because it is fleeting. And if you don't write it down and sort of let it be protected and grow, it'll just kind of come in and go out. But just kind of be on the lookout for ways to activate your super genius, and doing meditations that have binaural beats that activate both hemispheres of your brain. If you kind of think about the people that we know that have been super geniuses, any of those people whose brains we got to study, we've seen that super geniuses have a very well developed corpus callosum. And the corpus callosum is that network of matter that connects the right and left hemispheres of the brain. So we've got the logic side, and we've got the creative, intuitive side. And some people seem to be more in one than the other. But our highest destiny comes from blending those. And we will see this principle at play with Saturn and Uranus. It's taking the face sometimes of more division and polarization, but that's not the best way to use this energy. The best way to use this energy is to see the attributes of both sides and to blend them rather than pendulum swinging and trying to pick one or the other. And this is going to have great relevance for you in your life and in the world, the politics and everything. And even with currencies and everything that we can think of, there's going to be a place for all of it. And the creation of the network that connects it all, and this drills down holographically into your very own brain. So whatever you can do to develop your corpus callosum, to activate both sides of your brain, which you can do through like hemisync meditations, and of course you have to check with your doctor, make sure all this is okay for you. I'm not a doctor and I'm not a psychologist, but things like that help you to access both sides of your brain and balance them is going to help you to have ideas that are solutions to the problems you have in your life. And while you're at it, you can be asking questions about solutions for the world, and it can activate new industries, and it can activate technological and other advances that help to create the new way. So it's very exciting. So that's going to happen on the 24th, but we are going to feel it all month, and it will radiate very strongly into January. It has been a long-term theme. It will continue to be, but we will get a reprieve in some ways in an integration period throughout the first half or so of 2022. Now, the last big must-know, officially on December 28th, but you'll start to feel this before. Even with a 3-month radius, I start to notice Jupiter changes. So we're in that now. Jupiter's moving into Pisces. We had a little dip this summer, or winter for you all down under, where Jupiter popped in. And for Capricorn, this is a great thing because Pisces makes a much better aspect with Capricorn than Aquarius does. So the benefits from Jupiter might be more accessible, might come with less annoyance alongside of them. And all of this is going to give you opportunity to do a couple of things. First of all, access your super genius through going deep into your intuition to balance out your logical side. Second of all, it's going to give you impetus into resolving issues at their root level rather than scrambling around trying to solve a more superficial problem. Another way this is going to be helpful is that your capacity to communicate the things that you know is going to be very radically increased. So that can help you through you being able to teach other people how to do things so that you don't have to be the one that's always doing them. So there is this big story for Capricorn now, for especially from the end of December through around May, of you taking your lifetime of learning, or taking the natural gifts that you have if you're a younger person, or if you're a person that is a retirement age or not interested in industry per se. It's taking the gifts that you have and the things that you know and putting them in a form where other people can use them through books, through teaching, through courses, through artistic expression. That's going to be very much activated for you. So this is a very strong time, and there is a very major lesson specifically for Capricorn of how you can take your wisdom and share it with others in a way that you don't have to keep saying it over and over again, unless you want to be, but where you capture it and you give it, and then you don't have to keep saying it because you can say, here, use this. And that's going to really, really change things for you. This also heralds a time when you're going to be very busy and your mobility is going to be, through travel and through things like, exercise, and a lot of your relatives are also going to come into play in a big way. Nieces, nephews, uncles, aunts, cousins, basically everyone besides your parents or kids. Jupiter is going to be accentuating the place of all of those relatives. So you might find that certain things escalate that might be troubles so that you can solve them, or that you just get more time with these people, or that you expand your relationship, or that you're traveling to see these people, those kind of things. So that's going to come up in a big way, and Jupiter is going to help every member of the zodiac to enhance intuition and to see the other side of the brain, the artistic side, the creative side, as a necessary piece to filling in for all of the logic that is present in modern day society. Okay, so I have given you a massive amount of information and must-knows to help you make the most of this month and to know what could be coming so that you can best prepare for it. If you want to have even more information, go to AnnieHelpsYou.com, sign up for my free email newsletter. On the AnnieHelpsYou.com site, you'll see the interface for all the free things that I do for you each month, and there are so many. When you sign up for my free email newsletter, you get Shine, my 28-day virtual coaching package. Talk about inner work. This is an inner work powerhouse that I give you for free as a member of my email community. Also, new perk starting towards the end of November, as a member of my email community, you will also get access to run a free birth chart and see what placements and degrees you have so that you can use my videos that I make for you, these in-depth videos, in even greater ways. I have so many other resources, including books, my book Planetology, How to Align with the Natural Rhythms of the Universe. You can find it actually on bookshelves in all the major booksellers in the United States and lots of other countries too. And if it's not there on the shelf when you walk in, you can definitely order it. It's on Amazon. It's pretty much everywhere. And it's a guidebook to help you align with the natural rhythms of the universe. If you'd like to be an astrologer as your profession, or just casually earn some money from your love of astrology, or just help yourself and your friends and family, you will love my Becoming a Professional Astrologer Mastery course. If you think I go into lots of details, crazy amount of details in my free offerings, you should see what I give you in that course. So you can check that out at lumelife.com, L-U-M-E life.com. I also have some free courses on wellness and abundance at that site, which you can tap into. I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.